Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100 Frequency. Um, so tonight we're going to have a few guests with us. We're going to have Wayne Poe, uh, Fidel Deharo, and Erik Vanlier. They should be joining us shortly. So tonight we're just going to do some paranormal talk, just some chat about the paranormal, see what they've been up to, see what they're working on. Um, so let me go ahead and bring them both on right now. I'm going to bring on Fidel first and Erik Vanlier. So how you guys doing tonight?
Uh, I'm a little tired. I was downtown last night with all the chaos, but I have to ask one question. Why is Fidel hugging a pillow?
Man, I think it's a big old ghost right here. A big old panda. Just enjoying the comfort from being at home and doing this interview instead of being out somewhere sitting in a chair with a big old bright light doing an interview. So it's kind of more of a comfortable scene.
Right.
So, well, I'm glad to be on here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no problem. I know that this was last minute, but hey, it's all good.
Oh, no problem. I'm just missing covering another unlawful.
So go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, Erik, and explain what you do, what got you into the paranormal, any projects that you've been working on, and then I'll go to Fidel.
Okay, well, my name's Erik Vanlier. I run Golden State Haunts, which is a horror, Halloween, and paranormal website. I'm also the host of Creepy AF. We just did a spinoff, which Fidel is a big part of also. Our episode came out last week. I also did about 2 or 3, actually it's called Creepy AF Paranormal. I also did about 2 or 3 episodes for Halloween for Creepy AF, the original show. Obviously, everything like Not Scary Farm and Universal Halloween Horror Nights isn't open this year, so it's mostly drive-throughs. Other than that, I haven't been doing a ton of stuff with the paranormal. It's been harder with the pandemic and everything, especially to do urban exploration. For the most part lately, I've done a few local, and I mean really local investigations with Rob, like, feet away local. And other than that, I've just been covering stuff like the protest. Like I said, it was kind of crazy last night. From what I'm hearing, it's even more intense tonight, if that's believable. And covering stuff like other police stuff like shootings and standoffs and everything. And I got into the paranormal. I used to have night terrors. I now think they may be something else. I've been told by many top parapsychologists and paranormal investigators, historians, that I'm an empath with psychic abilities. I really got into it just by exploring the local urban legend locations and having some crazy experiences there. And then when Meetup started, I went to a few places with a few groups, mostly Hillside Cemetery. And then being a former actor, I was able to get into Linda Vista Hospital when set security was there filming. I got some attachments for a while. I stopped. And then some friends told me to join, to form a group. So I formed VIP, and it just, by investigating, little to not very well known to unknown locations, the group just took off, and it enabled me to be on a lot of paranormal shows, podcasts, and YouTube shows.
Cool. And what about you, Fidel?
Well, I'm the founder of Paranormal Connections with the Z. You can follow me on Instagram, paranormal.connections. I've been really busy. I just did a Twitch live stream. Did some investigation. Got a little sponsorship with D Fuel. So I got their free little energy drink that I'm drinking right now.
Oh, nice.
That was like a 6-hour investigation. Did a few podcasts. Also, what Eric was talking about for Creepy AF Paranormal. The show just dropped on Amazon Prime. People could check it out. So I still been really active. I've been doing it for a while, and with Eric, we've both been doing like we've been on different investigations together. We have so many stories. I mean, things from chupacabras to the werewolves and all kinds of different things.
He's not joking. I wish he was. Because it sounds crazy, but he's not joking.
We've heard, remember that like laughing, like people laughing, and then they just sounded like an animal. And we were like in the middle of nowhere in Lancaster. We just took off. We're like, forget that.
Well, Rob could believe it because we dealt with Lilith, so anything's possible.
What else did you do in this? But so we see like all kinds of things, and we had to evacuate homes on investigations. We've been in homes, we just had to leave. Like they're having. Remember that time when the wife was accusing the husband of cheating, and they were like advice, and one of our friends got scratched because Eric made him do some kind of ritual or whatever, speed through something, whatever. So the guy got scratched. So I still been active during the pandemic. It did slow down. It did really slow down compared to before, but it's starting to pick up. And actually, the three of us have done investigations.
Yeah, we've done quite a few things together. It's been a little while. I haven't really been doing much myself. I've just been building ghost boxes, starting up this web channel. So still fine tuning, all the equipment. I know the software that I was trying to run. I was having some issues, but just trying to get everything worked out. Then I do host another show on Saturday nights, and that's doing ghost box sessions. So the last Saturday was just intense. It was so intense. I don't know if it's because we are doing them at 3:00 in the morning at 3 a.m. during witching hour. So far, well, anytime I do ghost box sessions here, it's pretty intense anyway. But I don't know if they're intensified because we're doing them at 3 a.m. But anyway. So Tina's said, place in Illinois called Lanterns Lane. Whereabouts is that?
Lantern Lane? That sounds interesting, though.
Yeah, it does.
You can picture like a big old street with a bunch of people carrying lanterns or something. Instead of Lover's Lane, it's Lantern's Lane.
Right. So Fidel, what's like your craziest experience that you've done, and also give them a little background on how you got into the paranormal, and things like that, because you have some pretty interesting stories.
Background, that's gonna take you to like 11 years old, dabbling with the Ouija board, trying to figure out what girl liked me or all that good stuff kids do. Well, they don't do it now. Now they have a tablet; they could Google it. But that was our that was Google for us. It was a Ouija board. So I dabbled with it so much that one day my dad seen a spirit hugging me when I was asleep because I fell asleep sitting on a chair, and he seen the spirit. It was like a half body man, and like a 50s kind of pompadour, those haircuts, and it was hugging me, and it was intriguing to me why ghosts, or I didn't even know ghosts were really. It was hugging me, and then all my friends, they started getting experiences. One of the spirit looked like a doppelganger. It looked just like me. So I just been wondering what the other thing is. Dabble with witchcraft a little bit. Seen demonic possession. So I've been doing it. Like, probably you guys, like it's just part of your life. It's your whole life. It just happened. I remember the first ghost I ever seen, or two spirits I ever seen. They were the doppelgangers. It was my aunt and my cousin, but they were alive. I woke up in the night. My family was asleep on the floor. I was asleep on the couch, and I was wondering why my aunt and my cousin were staring at me in the dark. And they were like illuminated. They're flickering off and on like really fast, and they were giving me like this curiosity look, and I was giving them a curiosity look, but I was scared. But I was curious too, because why is my aunt and my cousin staring at me? And they're alive. It was just weird. And I woke up my dad. He didn't see it. Went to the kitchen. I decided to look back, and they were walking towards me like at a fast pace with these eyes. We turned on the light, and they were gone. So then I met people. We started dabbling. We tried to figure stuff out. We started using mirrors, drawing on mirrors, different what are they, sigils and pentagram. We tried to conjure spirits. Then we like started a coven, and it just about 10 years ago is when I started my paranormal connection group, because I wanted to further it, and I wanted to have groups of people, and I wanted to be with other people that have the same mindset as me. Then I met you guys, and that's it, man. It just all keeps going from there. Still a few shows. Still got a lot more TV shows or whatever to go. Me and Eric, I ended a few. So the future looks pretty good so far.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So were you looking, trying to find answers on what was out there, or why you were experiencing the things that you were experiencing, or?
Yeah, I was looking for answers, and I also want to know what happens when you die. Like, what really happens? I don't want to be told. I don't want to read a book. I don't want nothing. I want some hard evidence. I want to be able to communicate with people that have passed away, and I still do. I still like where the spirit box session. That's a really good thing. Um, I've used one of your boxes not that long ago, and I got some good responses with Eric at the color house. We used one that you made, so it gave you like, it makes you feel better. You know, you got family members that died. You want to communicate. You want to know their, but like for real, when you come on a spirit box, it's really like calms your mind down. It's just so much curiosity what's happening, not just what we see with our eyes. It is curiosity and closure. Both.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know, because that's what I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They want to find answers and get closure. So no, that's pretty interesting. What about you, Eric?
My craziest experience?
Yep.
I mean, I probably have, well, just that comes to mind, I have three. I had a pretty crazy experience in the bell tower at Poveglia Island. What was that?
Wayne's calling.
I had a pretty crazy experience in the bell tower at Poveglia Island. I was on the island pretty much by myself for the most of the time, but there was one part where the skipper that took me there was in the bell tower with me, and he was looking into this one room that was pitch black, and he got a little freaked out. So I turned on a spirit box, and it was saying stuff like "get out," and it was giving us intelligent answers. I think at one point it said "get out, Eric," and it said like "F you, Eric," and just some really crazy answers. And then I had a backpack. My backpack was heavy. I had my plague doctor mask in it and a bunch of other stuff. And you see the zipper start swaying, and then the backpack just falls over. And the skipper was telling me, "Get out, get out, get out." Half in English, half in Italian. And I didn't want to get out because that's when all the exciting stuff was starting to happen. And then when I looked at the video later at that part, I actually paused it and made some photographs of the that scene, and you can see a plague doctor actually start forming. It forms and then it slowly dissipates. That was a really cool experience. Of course, the now infamous incident where I was attacked by a skeleton arm at the Cellar restaurant in Fullerton. And then, other than my first experience where me, Corey, and Crystal, rest in peace, saw a full body apparition rise and appear to be about 7 to 8 feet tall and chase us out of Hillside Cemetery in Redlands. That was my first experience. So I don't count that. That's kind of like a unique, special thing. I'd say my third experience was with you investigating Hotel Garden Grove.
Yeah.
And Buffalo. There's so much. I mean, you and I saw the Hat Man. Well, we experienced and stuff, and then we saw the Hat Man walk right in front of us in the hotel room. I mean, there's just so much stuff. The dog at La Parissima. I mean, I could go on and on for hours.
Yeah. No, I mean, Eric and I have had some pretty crazy experiences throughout the years. Yeah, so it's been crazy.
The Hat Man? I want to hear about the Hat Man.
Yeah, we saw the Hat Man walk right through. What was it? The Red Lion, I think. It was a motel room. We saw there was a producer we were with, and he was alive, but we saw her husband appear in the room, and then there was some weird, I don't know how to explain it other than like alien stuff outside the hotel room. And then I go back into the hotel room, and I mean, almost as soon as I sit down, the producer was at the desk, Rob was sitting on a bed, and I was sitting in a chair facing both of them, and all three of us literally, like I see someone walking in daylight, just a person, it literally walked through a hotel room, the trench coat and hat and everything. But it probably lasted. He walked from where the bathroom was pretty much out the door. It probably lasted about 3 or 4 seconds. But the weird thing from what I experienced is like after the stuff, I guess, I don't know if it was because we were tired, if we had already experienced other stuff, but it was like the three of us weren't shocked for some reason. It was just like, okay.
So he walked from the bathroom?
He walked from the bathroom to the front door.
Oh, okay. That's creepy. I don't think I seen the Hat Man. I had a dream about the Hat Man, but I don't know.
I'm going to bring Wayne on now too.
All right.
Hey, Wayne, how's it going?
There he is. How are you?
It's my 720p camera.
Hey, just hug a pillow. You'll feel better.
My camera's right here. My computer's over here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
The Hat Man
just different experiences that everybody's had. So we had a question on what you guys did for Halloween. We'll answer that question and then we'll come over to Wayne. Fidel, what did you do for Halloween?
Let's see. I did the live stream, the Twitch live stream.
Okay.
The one that was sponsored by G Fuel. It's pretty good stuff, by the way. Other than that, I went to a Halloween party, dressed up like a cholo. But
You took the ocean spray on a skateboard?
Yeah. What's funny? I was all dressed up like a cholo, and I had to go to the liquor store, and I pulled up, and there was a bunch of like cholos everywhere, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not getting out this car, man." But other than that, I did some investigation, live Twitch, 6 hour. Videos supposed to come out, and they didn't really messed with Twitch before, so I guess the guy had 500,000 followers, and
Oh, nice.
G Fuel has about almost like that too, so it'll be in the millions.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric?
I went to Ace Jordan, the producer of Creepy AF and Creepy AF Paranormal and a couple of horror movies, Silent Retreat. I went to his house with Malikian, someone you know but have never met, I don't think. A friend from the wrestling industry. We went down to Mission Viejo for it wasn't really a party, it was just like a get together with some cast and crew. And watched Ghoulies 3, or Ghoulies 2, which was pretty crazy. Some like horror comedy movie from the 80s. I wish I could still do edibles and stuff like that. I can't touch anything, but being a little bit buzzed watching that movie would have been a trip. But I did have a couple of buffalo wings. I think the sauce is called Atomic or something. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's actually a lot hotter than Carolina Reaper. My friend wasn't going to have some, and Ace had cooked it, but there was a wing that had already been cooked, so it loses a tiny bit of the flavor. But I took a wing and I poured some of it on one of the hot wings and gave it to my friend, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to kick your ass before we leave." It was funny, but he was like a little bit upset, but then it died off. And it was like, all right, so I got to do it to you. So I had already had a wing, one of the cooked ones, and then he poured hot sauce on it. And it was like, I don't know if it was because I had a beer or, and a little bit of alcohol. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. The scariest part was driving home. I was going on 8 hours of sleep in 3 days. And from Mission Viejo to where I dropped my friend off in Redondo Beach, which is probably about a 45-minute drive for those not familiar with SoCal, it was completely fogged in. I mean, you could not see. That was the day there was a fatal accident in Long Beach. So that was probably the scariest part of the night. And then I was just worried that going over the Sepulveda Pass, I had him in the car to keep me awake. And the Sepulveda Pass, for those that know, gets really bad with fog sometimes. It's like going on the 91 in Riverside early morning. But it was clear, so I made it home, and I just I actually when I got home, I actually covered another event. There was a car accident on the train tracks.
Oh my God.
To drive, so I walked there. It was near my house, and then I just walked back home and passed out.
All right. Well, you made it home. Hey, you're always with no sleep, though, huh?
I'm a vampire, I think.
Yeah, you always go with no sleep. And remember that time you said you got home? You don't even know how you got home.
It's happened a few times.
I'm like, wow, man.
Waking up in Dorino parking lots.
Rena Schnitzel makes me pass out.
So Eric, you have a question about Michael wants to know. He's a little interested about the apparition that you saw at Redlands Hillside Cemetery.
Yeah, so that was when I pretty much first started. Hillside is known as being a very haunted place. I think Rob, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he shares, and Wayne might also shares the view that people give too much credit to cemeteries being haunted. They think, oh, that's the place to go. But Rob and I have both been to a famous cemetery in Scotland. I've been to Père Lachaise in Paris. But Redlands is one of the supposedly more haunted cemeteries in SoCal. I believe it's in Redlands. And that's like, they do a lot of, or they used to do a lot of satanic worship there. Redlands was, I don't know if it still is, with a big satanic worship place. And we went to the cemetery, and there's actually this place called Apparition Lane. There's on one side, there's a children's section that's really haunted, and then there's Apparition Lane. And we were leaving. I was with Corey Kaplinger and Crystal Ketchum, and we were leaving, and I saw this mist on Apparition Alley slowly start to rise. We all saw it. and it got bigger and bigger, and we saw it form, and we could see that when it was at full formation, it was like a 7 or 8 foot tall male, and it slowly started walking towards us, and it just kind of felt negative. I wouldn't say horribly negative. But like the three of us started walking faster and faster, and then I was like, wait, we shouldn't run, you know? It's just like a dog. If it smells fear, it's gonna attack. And it followed us right to the front of the cemetery gates, which I would say is, I mean, my guesstimate would be 70 to 100 yards away from where we saw it form, so it was a long distance.
Gotcha. No, I've never been to Hillside Cemetery. All right, Wayne, you're up. So what got you into the paranormal? And tell us a little bit about yourself also.
What got me into paranormal? I wanted to do a horror movie with some friends, and I kept coming up with ideas, and they didn't like any of them. So I said, well, screw this, you know? So a friend of mine said, why don't you do a documentary? And I said, all right, about what? And she said, just something you're interested in, you know? And I was thinking, like, you know, of course, I don't believe, at that time, I didn't believe ghosts were real, things like that. But I always grew up with ghosts, vampires. I wanted to go find Bigfoot and all that stuff, you know? So I tried to find, I was like, maybe I could talk to people that hunt ghosts, you know? So I just looked them up on the internet and sent out a bunch of emails. And within a week, I was on my first paranormal investigation. I just told them, I want to film you guys doing an investigation. They go, all right. And they brought me along. That's pretty much how it started.
Nice. So you spent quite a bit of time in Linda Vista Hospital.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
I've heard a lot from investigators how haunted it was, how there's shadow people, and they said they're telling me all their stories. And I was there a lot for 2 years. I was there almost not every day, but I was there a lot, you know. And I was filming people. I filmed stuff for a documentary, and I was just there to hang out. Sometimes we had the entire hospital to ourselves. The caretaker went home and said, I don't care what you guys do what you want. So we walked around, filmed, did whatever. And I didn't really have any experiences. I don't think I even got one EVP from Linda Vista. That's 10 years ago. I might revisit those recordings and think of them, look at them again. But the one thing that did happen as after a movie night, I heard my first disembodied voice, and it said my name. It's just like a regular. It was a female voice. It was like right here, right. Well, I'll do it on this side. I don't know if you see my fan. It's almost right behind my ear, right?
Yeah.
And just said Wayne, like that. No, not spooky or anything like that. Just a normal Wayne. And I looked around, and there's this huge ass room, and there's nobody around me. And I even looked behind boxes and stuff, see if anybody's playing a trick on me. And I went in front. There was a couple people. One of them, Eric knows, Lewis was there, and Laura Calhoun, but I didn't know her. I didn't know Laura at the time. And so I walked up to them. I said, "Did you guys just say my name?" And Lewis said no. And then Laura said, "No, I don't even know who you are." So it took me a few days to tell anybody else, my paranormal friends, because I was trying to figure out, well, did it like come from outside and bounce off the walls, or was it something like that? Because I didn't want to believe in ghosts completely at that point, you know.
Right.
But it was right there, normal voice saying my name, and that was the first. That's the only thing that really happened to me in Linda Vista.
Wow. No, that's cool. So somebody asked me a question about doing because they see my shows, my other show, and he watched my videos. So he was talking about spirits. Paulo, so when you try to when you contact spirit and you try to communicate with the spirit, it's hard to just isolate just to one spirit. I mean, if they want to communicate with you, yes, they will concentrate and you'll be able to communicate with that one spirit. But sometimes if there's multiple spirits around, it's you have no control. It's just like, other people in the room and you're having a conversation and somebody interrupts your conversation. You have no control over that. You can tell them, excuse me, when I'm talking to somebody else, but spirits don't work that way. It's just going to happen.
You mean you just can't ask for Robin Williams or Eddie Van Halen? You just can't do that?
No. So if a dead celebrity dies and they're not going to come out and communicate with you. It might happen, but it's very, very rare that they're going to look out just for you to communicate. And Brianna, getting to your question, sorry if I'm not looking directly at the camera. I have to kind of direct the show also, so I'm kind of like looking around at the chat. I'm looking at the guests too. It's weird because I like to communicate when I talk to somebody. I like to look them in the eye when I'm talking, so it's funny. I always look over to the monitor to look, and plus I'm a little camera shy too, so I don't like to look directly into a camera. So I'm just apologizing ahead of time. Some of you that have watched some of my other shows, they see the same thing. I've already explained that. So, so let me see. There was another question, and this is kind of cool. This is what I kind of like to do. Have other people ask us questions or tell us about your experiences, and then I could throw them up on the screen. And then we could kind of discuss this. So it's all about you guys. I mean, I bring guests on to just chit chat, but then I want you guys to, join, or I want to interact with you guys too. I don't want it just to be about the guest. Also, I want the guest to join in on all of the conversation, if that makes sense. So Brianna, I'm not sure. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, if your son has seen a spirit, I mean, do you have any? Is this in an apartment that you're renting? Do you know any history behind the apartment? That's in. Here's the thing: like when you start having experiences in and you guys could join in too. I don't want to be the only one answering, but in my experience, whenever I've seen something like where where a location that I'm living, or if I run into or have an experience in the location, that gets my curiosity up. I start asking questions, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's the property owner. There's a lot of things. I'll just start asking a lot of questions, and then they start getting curious on why. What have you experienced? And that kind of raises like, oh, so there has been, that's like an indication, like, oh, somebody else has brought that up before. So just like in only a very few people know about my location, about my house. I shared it publicly last week on my show, last Saturday. So last Saturday during Halloween, I did like I said, a live ghost box session. So I explained on why I have so many. There's 3 spirits here that I'm always communicating with. So, and there's always a little girl that comes through. Never got a name yet. I'm working on that. But so I started asking questions about that. Who owned this property before? Did anybody die on the property? Because I've seen 3 different spirits here. And then as soon as I said, have you ever experienced anything in the house? And my landlord just looked at me and she smiled and she said, why, what did you experience? And then I just kind of started unloading. And then she said, well, go look at the picture over there. Is that who you saw? And then so I looked, and yeah, it was exactly a male that I saw. And so that was her ex-husband who passed, and I hear him all the time. He's a little grumpy. I hear his footsteps, still smell of cigarette smoke, things like that. So now I'm trying to find out who the little girl is. Still haven't found anything. Now, the woman that I've seen is She's a silent film star that owned the property next door before she sold it to the Church of Science. That I just found out. And I saw a picture of her and I was like, oh my God, that's her. So, I'm doing a lot of research right now on my location. But so getting back to you, I mean, that's something that I would start doing. And then see if your son can give you a description. And then kind of just go from there. That's the only thing that I could really suggest. Now, there's somebody, if you guys want to read the comments, I mean, some of the longer comments, I don't think they'll be cut off. So there's a comment here that Michael just posted, Michael Wilcox. He's talking about one of his an experience that he had in the Mojave Desert.
Well, there's one question Michael had earlier about, hey, that's too soon to bring up Eddie Van Halen. Well, that really was what we were talking about. Is there are people in the paranormal that claim that literally as soon as a celebrity dies, I mean, they're barely been announced that they die. They say, "I got them on Ghostbox. Watch my 1 hour video on YouTube for views, and you can hear Eddie Van Halen or Robin Williams or anybody that's just died." And people do that for views. And me and a few others like Rob, we just don't really believe them. Let's say just because they just want the views, and I don't know if you can cuss on this thing, but
I trust me, it's not censored. So if an F-bomb drops or whatever, it's okay because it happens with me all the time, especially the people that were here Saturday. Yeah, there was a few F-bombs that were dropped.
Anyway, that's why I brought that up, because we have a joke going about it.
And yes, we're joking around about dead celebrities, but I was just trying to make a point. And that was something going back to, yeah, I don't condone that. Yes, I do a lot of ghost box sessions. Have I personally tried to contact a dead celebrity or somebody that just passed? No. Now, there has been people that, I was pretty tore up and pretty distraught about one of my friends that passed. How long did Gerald pass? Gerald Reynolds. Do you guys know? About a year and a half, 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago?
It was about 2 years ago. So about 2 years ago, one of my friends passed, and I was building a ghost box at that time, and I was supposed to meet up with him before he passed. The day before he passed. I'm sorry. So I was building a ghost box, and I was so distraught over his passing, and I was beating myself up because I didn't go and meet him the day before he passed. So his wife and I were talking, and she said, "Rob, don't worry, Jerry's fine. I'm sure he's okay." I mean, and I felt bad for her because she was really bad. Really, upset. So, yet she was consoling me because I was beating myself up, and all of a sudden his voice comes through, and he called me Robbie, and his voice came through and said Robbie, and I was actually soldering something and talking to his wife when this happened. I burned myself, and I said, "Oh my God, did you just hear that?" And his voice came through and said, "Robbie, I'm fine. I'm okay," is what he said. "Robbie, I'm okay." And then there was nothing more. I didn't try to keep on communicating. I didn't want to disrespect him like that. So I just let it go.
Yeah. It reminds me of that movie. What's that movie? White Noise?
Yeah, White Noise.
I was watching that and that reminds me of that. Whoa.
Yeah.
I had experience where I'm sitting at a restaurant, daylight, not even thinking paranormal, and I hear spirit call my name. And it just throws me off. But when I see the person next to me and I verify it, then it's like, okay, I'm not going crazy. Yeah. But I think that's happened to anybody here where you just hear your name so clear, get called a couple of times, and you're not even investigating or nothing. And you look at somebody else to verify with you. That's happened to me twice. Where it calls my name. I don't know why, but I was at the buffet. I was
Here's a question from Sandra. Fidel, you can weigh on this.
All right, where is it at?
I just threw it up on the screen.
Oh, negative energy depends on kind of negative energy. My thing on negative energy is to think positive and feel positive and be positive. And if it's sometimes you attract spirits if you're depressed and sad and life sucks and your ex, you guys broke up and you hate that person. If you get yourself in like a lower vibrational frequency, you start attracting lower vibrational spirits, especially like shadow people. They're notorious for that.
Yeah.
So you want to raise your vibration. That'll clear out a lot of negative energy. I'm not a fan of sage.
No, me neither.
Thing. I never used that thing. But I believe just being positive and speaking positive too, because your thoughts are vibration, your voice is a vibration. So it's simply tell the spirits to leave, tell the negative energy to leave. Some people like candles or carry different pendants or whatever the heck they do. Mine is just believe in the white light. You can do some prayers, whatever makes you happy and feel great. Then your vibration will raise up and the energy starts to leave. Now, if it's demonic, I've had a lot of cases demonic, and I found out the people were just drug addicts, and it was really just them. Yeah,
No, I totally agree. Now, so Brianna had so Brianna, what I have found now, a lot of time what I've experienced, this is just by my experience. Anytime I've gone to a client's house that has burned sage, it kind of worked for a little while, but it kind of made things worse. Because if there is some type of negative energy, for some reason they don't like it, and it just makes things worse. So, like what Fidel said, try to be more positive, and try to catch when you do feel that negative energy. Try to play some cheerful music, anything like he was saying to change that vibration in the room. Playing like positive music, whether it's like classical music or even like new age type of music, just instrumental, something that's kind of be uplifting. That kind of makes things work really well. That's what I have found. I dealt with oppression for a few years, after being in a location like Wayne was at Linda Vista. I was at a location for almost every weekend for over a year, and that just, I was suffering from oppression, and I didn't know that my attitude was changing. I had a really bad attitude. There was a lot of things that were happening with me personally, so I had to deal with that. And then that's what I started doing. I started playing like totally different type of music, started thinking positive, started doing things like that, meditating, trying to just change my vibrations, and things kind of went away.
True that.
Yeah, so somebody else, Brian said the same thing. Inspirational, motivational music are good choices. And it does work.
Like some people stay stuck though. You give them advice, and they'll stay still fixated and stuck on negative, and they can't seem to break through and get away from it. No matter how much you tell them and talk to them, they just go right back, and those spirits just stay.
Yeah, a lot of things is what we put out into the universe too. So if we think negative, we start thinking scary thoughts. whatever, things like that, that kind of puts that into the environment, and it just shows fear. And that's one thing that something negative is going to prey on is fear. If they sense fear, they're going to prey on that. And I've experienced that. So with others that have been attacked or things like that, because they were just showing that they were weak. But if you show that you're strong, you're not afraid of it, whatever's there, they're going to kind of back off and kind of leave you alone.
Yeah, true that. But then you get fellow investigators like Erik that pushes you against the wall.
Conjuring demons.
He's sitting on the floor. We're doing a thermite session in the dark. They say no, he's pushing me against the wall. Like, what the heck going on here?
Right? No, here's something else here. I don't know, Brianna, if you saw this. I've done this a few times also. And this I kind of do this even when I'm doing ghost box sessions. I've done that where I just put a glass of water and I burn I was looking behind somewhere because I have like a little shot glass that I kind of hide behind. I don't want people to get the wrong idea, but I have like behind my black mirror, I have a little shot glass. I put the water in there, and then on the front of the mirror, when I do light a candle, it is white. So I do that kind of like for protection also. And it helps me. That's just something that I do. And then I surround myself with white light just for the protection. So no, that was a good call out. No, this is really cool. You guys are throwing out some good info out here, and that's what I like to see.
Yeah, Paolo is right about what they're saying.
Negativity feeds on the pain in your heart. That's true.
It's true. So yeah, a lot of things that you do. I mean, it's all about surrounding yourself with positivity. Love and positivity. That is, it's a cliche, but it is the key to happiness. So, there is a lot of things out there that are pretty dark, and so you just have to be a little careful, and also what you invite in. Doing things paranormal. You have to think about it. It's not only the location that you're going into, it's the other people that are joining in with you. So if you go into, like, let's say, a public investigation, okay, you don't know what some of the other investigators are bringing into the location, Erik Vanlier, or their intent on what their intent is on going to the location, Erik Vanlier. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just a joke, but I mean, it's just, sometimes if a person's intent isn't on the right thing, they're going to bring in some negativity, and then somebody else in the investigation can get hurt.
Yeah.
Case in point, me getting attacked at Yost Theater.
Let me say one thing, and then if you could talk on that, that would be awesome, if you don't mind.
Okay.
The main thing probably with demons, other than affecting children and animals, is that, and I've experienced this a few times, is that they pry on obsessions and compulsions. So, like, if you're an obsessive gambler, if you have a sex addiction, if you're an obsessive drinker or compulsive drinker, and you have some kind of attachment, and it doesn't even have to be anything demonic, but just negative, they will try to bring you down using whatever your addiction is.
Whatever your addiction is, playing video games.
Any addiction is bad. Like my friend, he's addicted to adult films, and whenever he sees an attractive woman, we could be hanging out or whatever, but that's the first thing that pops in his mind. And there's nothing negative about that on the surface, but any obsession taken to an extreme can become unhealthy. Even fitness, anything, because it changes your brain chemistry, and not only does it sidetrack you from other stuff, but it could lead to other addictions as well.
Oh, that's totally true.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, yes, I do have traits of being obsessed and getting obsessed or compulsive with certain things. But I mean, that's why I just walk away from things. I'll start doing something when I know that I'm obsessed or getting obsessed with something, then I do walk away from it for a while. And this was one of my things that I was getting obsessed with, because I wanted to get everything right. But anyway,
can you talk about the Yost Theater experience?
All right, so Yost Theater was on Ghost Adventures. So Eric and I were both on that episode. I think it was in the 3rd season of Ghost Adventures. So years ago, I saw an apparition there, and Eric had a couple of experiences there and got some great EVPs at the location. So we were invited back by the general manager of the location. Is that correct? Is that what she was?
Well, actually, it was directly through someone who was actually promoting a Lucha Libre show, and then we got confirmation from the GM.
Yeah. Okay. But we talked to the GM when we were there, and then so anyway, so we got permission from her to kind of. We had like full access of the theater, so we went down to the basement with some of the workers. They took us down there, and we were watching this dark shadow person. It kind of looked like dart in and out of there's like a stairway, and there was kind of like where the stairway comes down, there's a little hall. So I finally said, you know what, I'm gonna go see if somebody's there, because it was just weird how the shadow was moving. So I walked over to the shadow, where the shadow was, and all of a sudden it just grabbed my arm on my bicep and just squeezed, and it took me down to my knees, and then all of a sudden it just let go, and then I walked away. That, to me, that was a sign like, okay, he doesn't want me here. Kind of let me know like I'm overstepping my boundaries. So I said, you know what, I'm out. And I told them, hey, I told Eric, let's go. Just because I didn't want him to get attacked or, him provoking anything. So I left, and then he came out, I don't know, half an hour later.
Yeah, we didn't hear you for whatever reason, and then I was there. I think one of the people, it was just me and maybe one or two other people, and I finally saw the shadow person. It was still there. This thing was not intimidated, because a lot of times they'll just be there for a short while and then leave. But this thing, even after you left, was there for a while. And I was telling the guy next to me, I'm like, look, what is it doing with its hand? Because it looked like it had a claw, and the best way to describe it is like Wolverine. And I said, look, it's flicking its hand out. And as soon as I said that, I was just scratched all over. I mean, this thing scratched me all over. And I was in the same place that Rob was standing in, and I would say that was, 20, 30 yards away?
Yeah.
So this thing, as soon as I said that, it was like it just, transported 20, 30 feet in front of it and just started mauling me. And then I went upstairs, and Rob and I watched the rest of the Lucha Libre show. And he was like, ow, my arm still hurts. Yeah, he had a big, bruise or welt on it or something.
Yeah, I had fingerprints. It kind of, there was like three fingerprints on one side and like a thumbprint on the back side of my bicep. Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Wow. The Wolverine.
Brianna asked where this was. This is at the Yost Theater in Santa Ana, California, which is in Orange County.
Yeah, I just typed it up.
Did they close that down or something? You know?
I've heard conflicting information.
Paulo, no, I'm not getting mad at you. I just said that. Cool. I'll check out your site or your YouTube channel.
To my understanding, I heard that it was closed, but then I heard that it was not closed. So I'm not sure. It's not from where Fidel and I filmed at the Orange County Heritage Museum.
Oh, that's a pretty cool place. People can check it out on Amazon Prime. Creepy AF Paranormal. I want to check it out. What was that?
I was just sending a message to one of our groups. I was testing my camera before I came on air because I was having trouble setting it up.
Oh,
So, Brian, so yeah, so Brian had a comment here. It's too long for me to post. It'll cut off like on the second line. So no, that's good that you were able to. He was having some issues with some bad energy since he was 13 and got rid of it 2 years ago. But I'm glad that you were able to bounce back from that.
Let me answer Michael real quick. Yes, we both saw it. Rob and the other employees saw it at first. I don't know why I didn't see it. When Rob left, I finally saw it. It was like blocking the exit sign, like one of those neon green exit signs. And then I saw it separate from the exit sign, for lack of better words, on its own. It wasn't covering anything. It was just its own, luminance or whatever. But it was when it flicked its claw or whatever you want to call it that I saw it really good. And I was able to even see its hand.
that's crazy.
So, Fidel, you want to get to this one from Mary?
Where is it at?
It's like
it's kind of cut out. I want to visit this few pathway. I see half of it. Can you copy and paste it or something?
here, I could.
Oh, they're talking about addiction. Living in a haunted house. I seen spirit though. It says physically sick. I do believe spirit can make a person physically sick because we're all energy anyways. If they could figure out how to bring our energy down. I've been to a house where I see people sick and like the spirit's just really just getting them bad. Those kind of people, some of them, they need to do like a major cleansing or they just need to leave that house.
Yeah. So, Mary, I mean, I've had an experience at the Whaley House in San Diego. The first time I went there, I went upstairs and I was upstairs for a little while and I was in a certain spot to where all of a sudden I felt really nauseous and I had a really bad headache. So I started getting really nauseous. So I had to leave. And as soon as I went outside the house, removed myself from that place, I was fine. And it was just immediately gone as soon as I got out of the house. And I said, okay, that's weird. So I went back up, just being me. I went back up and I didn't feel it again. So I don't know if there was something there, some type of energy there that was just affecting me at that time. I don't know because I didn't eat anything. So it wasn't that. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think that energy can affect people in certain ways. So
Yeah, and imagine if you lived in that house every day with that energy. Um, yeah, sometimes they just own the land or the property or the location. Can't
I
really
think
do
we
much.
know a location like that.
That place is pretty cool, though, the Whaley House. I had good experiences there. Uh, it was just a long tour, $10 tour. Little
yeah, and
little stuff.
that's the best thing. I mean, because I've paid for an overnight investigation there, and it really wasn't worth it to me. But just doing the walkthrough tour, because a lot of times, what here's what I find: whenever you go on to like a public tour like that, just pay for the tour, and hang back, hang way back. Just let the tour go way up, and just kind of stay back, and then just kind of wander around yourself. And that's like the best way to do a tour. And if they come looking for you, they'll say, "Oh, wait, we're missing a couple of people," and they'll come looking for you. So, but a lot of times you'll have some amazing experiences, just being alone or with somebody else. It's cool.
I took a REM pod last time I went. I kept placing it there where the tour guide's like, "What the heck are you doing?"
So, Brianna, what I was going to say real quick before you go, if you do, I do, like I said, I do ghost box sessions on Saturday nights. It's kind of late. They start at 11:45, well, 12 midnight on the West Coast, so Pacific, and then you can ask any questions, and maybe we can find some answers for you. Hope you were here to hear that.
Wayne Poe is very quiet.
Well, I'm listening to everybody. Everybody's got something to say.
Wayne's watching the election thing.
Let me see. Let me check. Hold on.
Yeah, let's check the numbers on the election.
There's no updates whatsoever right now. There's no updates.
All right, no political talk.
No updates.
Well, everybody talks about, investigators talk about the ghost flu or something like that. After you could come out of an investigation or you've been out for a few hours, the next day you feel completely drained, like you can't wake up. That happens sometimes at heavy locations.
Yeah, I sleep a lot sometimes after an investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, it really sucks when you have to go to work the next day.
Oh, man. Any more questions?
Hold on one second. So, Amy, sometimes when we do ghost box sessions, believe it or not, when people do, if spirit wants to communicate with you or has something a message for you, believe it or not, you'll get an answer. I was very, very skeptical with ghost boxes for many, many, many years. Then I bought a few, and I just was debunking them on just, this is only radio. Why is it only picking up radio? Things like that. So I kind of took it apart just to see what they were like. And then I was like, oh, I could build this no problem. So I built a couple, and I kind of give them away. I mean, I would build one, just something to tinker with. I would give it away. I mean, or just say, hey, you want to buy it? $25. That's how much I paid for it. So, and then once I started building my own box, so I built one for myself just to tinker with, to say, hey, look, I built a box or a ghost box. I built the ghost box, and all of a sudden I was getting my name. I was getting my dog's name. I was getting relevant things that were happening with me. And I was like, wait a minute, this is weird. And then I became a believer, and then I just started building boxes. That's how I got into it. So then when you do get in tune with a ghost box, it's pretty amazing on the responses that you do get. And I've had other people here, and the person and I are just talking back and forth like we are right now, and all of a sudden we're getting the ghost box answering. Like I might ask a question to somebody out there in the audience, and then the ghost box will answer, and I'm like, wait, what? So it's just, and I forget that it's even on. So it's happened a few times to us here. So anyway,
Well, it's the same thing with me when I first was with a group that brought out their ghost box, and I was just saying, "Are you kidding? It's a radio. Of course, voices are going to come through, you know." So I didn't believe it at all. And then after a while, things started coming through that was relevant to what they were saying, you know. And there was one especially. We were at a cemetery, and the person asked, "Can you move around, or are you stuck here?" And immediately the response was "stuck." And I said, "Man, how can that, you know? What kind of the odds would be when you catch that?" And then me and Fidel, we were at the same cemetery. I asked the same question. This was like 3 or 4 years later, and we got stuck again. Remember that, Fidel?
Yeah.
That's stuck again. So there's a lot of those types of experiences. I finally had to reluctantly believe in ghost boxes. I didn't want to, but after a while, I said, I can't really ignore it anymore. This is another type of communication, just like EVP, you know.
yeah. Like with me, I mean, that's what I was. I mean, that's all I did was EVP. You know, I didn't carry. I still to this day, I still don't carry around equipment. Yes, I've had every single piece of equipment out there. You can ask Eric. You could ask Fidel. I mean, I would bring bags of equipment. And then as years gone by, I started bringing less and less and less equipment with me. Now the only thing I carry is a ghost box, a recorder, and my camera. That's it.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all you need. So, anyway, it's just crazy.
I've never even owned a K2 meter or a Mel meter. I've never owned one. Never used it.
So neither have I, believe it or not.
Here's something for Eric. Eric does something really cool at the end. So somebody has a question on the post, and the reason why I'm going to give this question to Eric is Eric does something really cool that I've always admired since I've known Eric. You know, after an investigation, he does something really cool, and I'm going to throw this question at him now.
I've never gone public with this, but
you don't have to say what you do. I mean,
I'll say it. I don't have a problem. You know, I've taken a step back from the paranormal a little bit, so you know, and if it helps people, whatever, you know. Hopefully, I remember it. But you know, like the investigators outside, I'll form a little circle and I'll say it's almost like a 12-step prayer. I'll say whatever he saw here, whatever he experienced here, whatever he felt here needs to stay here. We respected you. You need to respect us. You must stay here or you must cross over. Obviously, if it's demonic, it changes a little bit. And I do, if it's a residential, I do feel a little bit bad, you know, saying you must stay here. Usually we do come in and cross the spirits over. You know, I know how to do a crossing, but it's not always on the first time. So I do feel a little bit guilty saying you must stay here. You know, but it's just like, you know, law enforcement, when they go to a situation, they're there to help people, but they're also there to protect themselves, you know. And then when I get to my home, I say pretty much the same thing. I said, if anything happened to attach to me or follow me, you must go back to where you belong or you must cross over. And, you know, it seems to have worked. Have I gotten attachments even doing that? Yes, but it was because I was involved with some very dark kind of secret society stuff that overpowered it, that Wayne and Rob both know about and that they both have told me for years to get out of. And I have gotten out of it. And I think both of them could attest that, the majority, if not all of my negative energy, is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but everybody has their own way of doing things. But what Erik does and what he just explained, I think it works great. And so if and I've actually been on a couple of more investigations with a couple other people, and they do almost exact. I mean, not the exact same words, but something to that effect. They do like a closing prayer, kind of, and it just seems to work. Everybody has their own way of protecting themselves. Like I said, I just surround myself with the white light. Always think positive, and just say, you know what, you can't follow me. I'm not afraid of you, and just kind of, you need to stay here. I'm out.
True that. I think being in this field, we all get some kind of attachment or something that's already around us makes itself known. I've had my time, or people visiting me, they start seeing things in my house.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of not even saying anything when I leave an investigation. I just leave and go home, go to sleep. But
I
Raina,
remember you used to sleep in your car after investigations.
oh yeah, I would drive up to like a donut shop, try to get coffee, but then I'll just sleep in my car because it's far, like in the valley, and I live all the way down this way. But yeah, I would sleep in my car.
so Raina, there was to answer your question, before I start a ghost box session here in my home. Well, I don't really do ghost box sessions in my house. I do them in my workshop or my studio. Now it's I converted my garage into like a studio. And my ghost box setup, I don't know if you can really see on camera, but it's over here. Anyway, so I have my ghost box like kind of like a little altar set up. I do burn a white candle. I do put water next to the white candle. And I kind of like just do a little I guess like a little prayer. I wouldn't say it's a prayer. It's just something what I believe in. I just do a little meditation and kind of surround myself with the white light and just tell spirit, you're not welcome to stay here during this session. After we close the session, you have to leave. And I kind of just leave it at that. So everybody is different. Everybody has their own beliefs. So, but that's what I do. And I haven't had any issues. But then again, my house, there is 3 spirits here. But you know what, though? They don't bother me during the day. They don't bother me at night or when I'm trying to sleep or anything like that. They used to try to communicate during the day a lot. And it's weird because a lot of people, I don't know why people wait till nighttime to do investigations, because I've never had experiences in my home at night. So I think if you do have, if most of the activities happening during the day, then you're going to do what they do. You're going to have investigations during the daytime. But I used to hear, whenever I'd wake up to get water or something in the middle of the night, I would hear spirit, hear footsteps. I would hear a child speaking. I would hear a male kind of grumbling, walking around, things like that. So, but I never interact with them. So I just leave it at that. And you're welcome. So in like what you just responded to, so she just said, thank you, and she doesn't get bothered by them. And when you do have conversations with them, they'll kind of get to know you. You get to know them. They'll leave you alone. And if you give them no attention, they're not going to bother you. Now, if they're trying to get your attention and they want to communicate, at a point when you're comfortable doing it, break out that spirit box right then and there, and you're going to be you'll be surprised on the communication that you do get, because they will let you know when they want to communicate, and when they want to communicate, do it right then and there, get it recorded, and you're going to get a lot of responses back, and you're going to get a lot of answers.
Rob, someone had a question about ghost box apps. You want to get into that?
Now Ghostbox apps, I don't really care for. Now, I'm not saying that with all the apps. There are a couple of apps that I've experienced or I experimented with and have had some great success with. Now the Echo Vox is one. The other is Erik turned me onto this, and I started kind of tinkering with it with some of my ghost boxes, just using a line input. I was using it's a Sono, it's SONO X10. It's both on Android and Apple and iOS. Both of those apps work good. Now, some of the other apps, like the reverse speech apps, things like that. Now, you have to be careful with some of these apps, because all they are memory, or they're pre-recorded audio that are recorded into an app, and then a lot of them are just put into reverse speech. Now, those type of apps I don't believe in, because you're already getting pre-recorded audio. So, there could be you're using an app to run it's just like getting an MP3 player, recording a bunch of audio on it and hitting play. Now, who knows if the app is gonna spit out something and then it's gonna be a word or something. So those type of apps I don't believe in. Now, if it's just random generated, like IP radios, like Ghostbox type of apps where they're just a bunch of radio stations and they're kind of manipulating how a Ghostbox would work. Something like that might work, because it's spitting out random things like that. But you also have to be careful, because if you might hear like ghost, or you might hear death or something like that, then but then again, you have to break down the software, look at the stations that they're using, and see, okay, are they using Christian radio stations, things like that. So then they might be throwing relevant words out there that it's not what you're looking for.
The one Fidel uses is pretty good.
Remember
what's that?
GB1. The one I used is GB1. That one was really good. I got good responses on that. I used another one called Spiritus. If it gives me relevant words, then yeah. But if it gives you the same words that don't even make sense,
Yeah.
But the GB1 was Erik Anunnaki.
Yeah, we talked to the ancient aliens using one.
Now,
good time.
Now, Nora, here's something for you. So this is something that we were talking about during last week's show. So last week's episode that we did was with Tim Woolworth and Joshua Sean. So they're big on ITC. So it was last week's show is all about ITC. So if you want to look up last week's show, just go to the Pair Awakening. You could look up last week's show, or on just on Pair Awakening, because that's where it was recorded, or on my YouTube channel on the Pair Awakening. So last week we were talking about a different type of white noise. So if you just put it on like white noise, so I use an app called it's a streaming app, kind of like Pandora, but it's just kind of like natural sounds. It's called Calm Radio. I don't know if you've seen commercials for it, but so Calm Radio has different has different white noise. They have pink noise. They have different types of noise that you can do. So I use just waves, like beach waves, like a soundtrack from beach waves. So one day, when I first started using that, like I was saying, in the morning, so sometimes I'd sleep in, especially like on a weekend, I would sleep in, and then all of a sudden I was hearing, I'd faintly hear the beach waves crashing in the background, and that's white noise. And all of a sudden I started hearing a little girl's voice talking between the waves. And I said, am I hearing something? Is that really what I'm hearing? Where's that voice coming from? And I kept on hearing a little girl's voice coming through. And I looked, and the voice was coming out of my radio. And I said, that's impossible because this is waves. There's no voices. If you ever listen to, so I hit stop, I hit play again, and was hearing just wave sounds. And then half hour later, the voices started coming back through. I hit pause, hit play, nothing. Hit pause, hit play, nothing. And then all of a sudden, again, a voice started coming through. But she was saying, why aren't you talking to me? And it was like a full sentence. And then I was like, that's impossible. So it's just weird on how, white noise works. The Spiritus Ghost app, I don't like it. I've tried to use it. I've given it several attempts to use that on different occasions. And basically there's two voices programmed in that app. And if you look on my earlier I had a different YouTube channel at one point where I was breaking down apps. So I would extract the audio and kind of construct. Some of the audio is broken up into like little snippets. So I would reconstruct all of that, and I would show how to reconstruct it, and I would show the before and the after. So on that Spiritus app, there's two recordings. There's one of a male and one of a female. And that's why you always hear those two sounds, and they're kind of like phonetic sounds, but it is still words. Once you put all the pieces together. So I just don't like that app. And like I said, I've debunked that app. What I think I've debunked it. And I kind of gave some relevant answers that were coming through. I was like, hey, look, watch, here it's going to say this, here it's going to say that. And I kind of had it timed, and I broke it down and was showing the people that, and they're like, how did you do that? And I said, well, it's because when I broke it down, this is what was recorded. So anyway, we've kind of gone a little long. Is there anything else that you guys have any questions with? And Raina, you're welcome.
I got a question for Erik.
Okay.
When you're going out on your when you're filming different events and things happening with the police and stuff, have you caught any anomalies or any kind of EVPs or anything on your footage that you weren't doing anything paranormal, but have you ever caught any anomalies or anything like that?
Not that I've noticed yet, to be honest. I sometimes get what could be something anomalous on the police scanner. It doesn't have anything to do with the police stuff, but there was something we caught when Fidel and I were filming the pilot episode for Creepy AF Paranormal. We noticed that in what used to be the children's room, we got a voice that said "shut up." It was a clear Class A EVP that we didn't notice until after, post. But as far as the police stuff, I haven't analyzed it for that, so there could be stuff there that I don't know about. But I haven't seen or heard anything yet other than actual live possible anomalous stuff on police radio. Now what was crazy is my friend and I, the friend that went to the party with me, we were at this one place at a haunted park, and we were waiting to go in, so we were listening to the police scanner before we were going to make entrance into the park. And I know it sounds funny, it sounds crazy, but one of my favorite wrestlers of all time that used to scare the hell out of me as a kid died this year, Kamala. And if anybody remembers him, he had, like he would do like this, like these growls and chants and make these, strange noises. They said he was from Uganda and he was supposed to be like this headhunter from Uganda. Of course, he was from America. But my friend and I, we were listening to the police scanner, and we heard something that, and we know all the wrestlers, so we heard something that we could have sworn was the voice of Kamala coming through the police scanner. I know it sounds nuts. Don't ask me how it's possible, but we were like, holy crap, was that Kamala? That was pretty interesting and funny. Rest in peace. Of course, like I said, he used to scare me as a kid, but he was one of, the nicest guys in the WWF.
Kamala. Oh man, that's funny. Well, yeah, rest in peace. Facebook page to follow you guys. Well, for me, you can follow me on Instagram, paranormal.connections with a Z. That's on Instagram. I don't know what everybody else wants to say over there.
Yeah, so if anybody, well, it would help my channel a lot if you can go to the Para Awakening on YouTube and subscribe and hit the bell notification. That will give you any notifications when we do go live. And once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving out a radio. So I will post a video on how to become eligible to or just be part of the drawing to win a custom-made ghost box once that does happen. So that would but also, yeah, if you want, you can just that's probably the best thing is just go to my YouTube channel, go to look for the Para Awakening, and that's it. Let's see. So Nora had a question real quick. So here's a pretty interesting thing about that. Now that's something. So she just asked if you ever feel like you get zapped, and people have said that it could be that a spirit is near you when that happens. So basically, what's happening is spirit. What I have learned, or what I've experienced, I should say, is if you've ever felt like you're walking through a location and you feel like spider webs on your face or go across your arms or something like that, that is normally static electricity. So what I do normally, and this is the only other piece of equipment I should have said that I do carry in my bag, is a static meter. And you can find them for like $10 on eBay. Basically, you just turn it on and it detects static electricity. So as soon as, if you're walking around with that thing, you could have it like on your side, wherever, but I just kind of hold it as I'm filming something. I'll have that in my hand and I'm filming. So if I do run across that and I feel spider webs and that thing starts going off, then I know that there's static electricity around. and normally it said that spirit will put out static electricity. Now, I don't find like spirit. I mean, this is just me. I've never, when that does happen, I've carried both an EMF or a millimeter or some type of EMF detector, and I have one of those meters in my hand, a static detector. If I'm walking around, sometimes the static detector is just going off like crazy. I don't get any hits on the millimeter at all. So that's just telling me that, you know what? And it's funny because I've gotten some crazy EVPs because sometimes I'll just carry a recorder that's hitting record. And as soon as that detector is going off, and I say, whoa, what's that? And then sometimes I'll get a laugh on an EVP, or they said, oh, he found me, or something like that. I've had that happen where you'll hear the meter going off, and then it'll say, oh, he found me, or, oh, they just give a weird response. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. But that's what I found that's what causes that.
Yeah, for me, I mean, being an empath, and all three of the people on the show have, seen it. It could be 110 degrees outside, but all of a sudden, I'll get my hair sticking up and goosebumps. And also, I mean, it doesn't even have to be at a haunted place. And one of my friends has the same experiences. Sometimes it's like, I mean, I could be driving in my car, and it's almost like a, speaking of the static and all that, it's almost like a Tourette's tick. I'll just be there, and I'll just feel like this surge of I don't know, static and energy, and I'll kind of like go like that. Fidel's seen me do it many times. I'll just go like that, and like almost like I'm having like a seizure or a tick or a spasm or something, and I don't even know when it's going to come. It just happens.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. I mean, any type of energy or any energy change, I should say, their body, everybody's body responds different. Yes, I mean, Sonia. So I can't say never. I have brought in mediums to kind of during an investigation, especially if it's like a repeat investigation, or I'm doing a lot of work on an investigation, like I'm documenting activity, or I'm documenting things that are activity that's happening, and I'm trying to find answers in a location. I will bring in a medium to help out, or I do know a couple of remote viewers, and I'll have them do a remote viewing of a location, and they'll kind of explain some things, and then if they're right on what I'm looking, and they start giving me answers that there's no way that they know, I'll say, hey, I need you to come to this location, and we're going to do a walkthrough, and I need you to tell me what you feel and things like that. And then I'll start they'll start hitting things that there's no way that they know. I'm the only one that has, that information, or, somebody else that I'm working with has that information. Not even the location manager or owner or anything like that has any of these answers yet, because they brought me in to kind of do an investigation and kind of document what I'm finding. So that's the only time that I really work with a medium. I don't know about you guys.
Once in a while.
Go ahead, Fidel.
Oh no, well, once in a while I work with medium. I'm not. I mean, it's cool and everything, but I like to depend on science more. Being in this field for a while, we get more in tune. We can feel when spirits are around us, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So, I mean, like you said, if a medium's right on and it coincides with everything, then yeah, then it's more interesting. And but if they're there, they're there. If not, it's cool.
Yeah.
You win.
And like what Fidel was saying, I mean, you do kind of get in tune with things, and that's why there's so many people that rely on equipment, and people need to learn how to kind of trust their feelings. It's like using the force.
Is my offer?
But you know, when you get in tune with your feelings, I mean, and your body will kind of tell you that there's something not right, or there's something different around you. So kind of listen to your body. Your body's telling you something. So trust it. Trust your instincts also. Use your instincts. Just kind of go into like a zone. Just kind of like forget about everything. Just clear your mind and just start walking through and see what you feel. And then after a while, you'll just get in tune with it.
True. Anything, Wayne?
Here's one. Yeah, there's a something that I would never want to experience again. But I don't know if I want to talk about that. So yeah, there was a really bad spirit in the location that both Erik and I dealt with for well over a year. We were spending, I don't know what, we'd go to that location twice a month, maybe, for a year, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So it was something that was pretty bad, something where I had to protect Erik and not let him know when I was going back to the location for his own safety. But it was pretty bad. So I had to bring in a third party. Actually, he reached out to me. It was really strange on how that worked. He reached out to Erik, and then Erik gave me his number, and him and I talked, and he got involved. And I actually have a little amulet that was used during basically an exorcism that was to exorcise a house where there was a possession in that location. But anyway, I still have the amulet that was used in that. Here, I'll show it to you. So it's this little, it's this.
Oh, that's cool.
Can you guys hear? Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, we hear you again.
So anyway, that was an amulet that was used for that investigation. And during the investigation, or during the when that was when the ritual was happening, and the exorcism was taking place, I was the only one in there with the person. And he told me you cannot bring any audio equipment, you can't bring any video equipment. And I don't want you freaking out, and just don't freak out, whatever you see. So he was just like in a trance and speaking basically Latin.
No, it's Syrian, wasn't it? Or it didn't.
No, it was Latin. And then all of a sudden I just started seeing a bunch of weird crap happening. And this was in the middle of the day. Things were just coming up out of the ground, out of the hardwood floor. Just we heard a scream as soon as it helped, or as soon as it was gone. And then the house just felt totally different. It was amazing. But anyway.
Rob, your audio is going in and out.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I thought. I saw it clipping or going out, so that's why I said if you can hear me. There we go. Is that better?
It's still clipping a little bit.
Is it? Or is that better?
That's
All right,
better.
Okay, cool.
What else?
I think I was messing with the audio cable. All right, that should be better.
Antique stores.
Um,
Don't get this at an antique store.
now, buying used or buying antiques or buying things from yard sales. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that. No, that's exactly right. So she said here there was a
Yeah, that's.
I got that for. So you're talking about the amulet that I just had? Sandra, was that talking about the amulet that I just had?
Yeah, I think she's talking about that one.
I don't remember where I bought it. So there was two that I purchased. Now, it was funny because the person that kind of helped me with that, once he blessed it and he started doing the ritual, he told me, "Hey, grab the amulet now that it's blessed. I want you to put it on." In the house, I had the house at 70 degrees. I had the air conditioner on. So, and where it was sitting on a glass table, and the glass table was directly underneath a vent. So that table, anytime you touch that table, it was like cold, right, from the air. So when I went to pick up that amulet, it was hot, like it was sitting on a hot stove. I even dropped it because it was that hot, and I had to pick it up by the strings. And he said, "What happened? Did it burn you?" And I said, "Dude, what the hell? I don't what's going on?" And he just started laughing. And he told me, "Yeah, I should have told you don't grab it by the metal part because it's going to be hot." So anyway, he told me to put it on, so I put it on, and then he said, "I want you to wear that during this whole time." So anyway, that was just kind of weird. But I think I bought. I'll have to send you a link. Let me look it up, and I'll send you a link. And it's a goddess of fertility, is who that is. Well, that's one name.
That's
I
her
don't
good
want to
side.
say. Yeah, she has two sides. That's a good side of her.
Hey guys, I think I'm gonna have to take off.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna end the show here soon. I just wanted to see if there was anything else, but thank you guys so much for being on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Normally I have these shows scheduled for like an hour, but if we go way past, it's fine. That means it was just a fun and good show. But thank you all, and we will have another show Saturday at midnight. If you want to tune in at 11:45, I just kind of do a little pre-ritual, things like that, and play some music, have a little story, and then we go into a ghost box session. But anyway,
Thanks for having me.
if you guys want to stay on, I'll stay on. You guys can take off if anybody wants to hang out.
Okay, we'll see you guys.
I'm logging
All
off.
right, see you later.
All right, thank you.
You're logging off
thank
too,
you.
Fidel?
Yeah, I'm gonna log
All
off.
All right.
I'm going to see if anything crazy is going on.
All right.
All right. Thank you. We'll have to do the sushi again soon.
Oh yeah. All right, Eric. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you.
All right. I don't. I'm on. So the show starts at 11:45 p.m. Pacific time. Yep, that's right. Brianna, so I'll do a schedule, and I also will share I also kind of do like a little flyer that I do post up. So I will send out reminders. But if you, like I was saying earlier, Brianna, if you have any questions for the live ghost box session, I'll be free. I'll be more than welcome to ask your questions live. Maybe we can get you some answers. I'm trying to find out some answers with certain things that I'm working on right now. So with spirit, so let me see. Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of stories. That I only wanted to share that story because Erik was here. I was thinking about doing a show with everybody that was involved on that case. So, but it's kind of a little dark, a little scary. We've actually sent some clips of the investigation to a couple of networks that were interested in possibly doing a story, and they were terrified, and they said no, it's not I guess not appropriate. It's more of they thought it was more on the religious side of things and not really paranormal, which I don't get it. Yes, there was something demonic, but I don't know how that wasn't paranormal because there was a lot of activity in the home because of that, but they just said no, it's too controversial. But struggling with what, Sonia? Nora, yeah, we will have a show on that at some point. So I think it'd be a good show. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna end the show, and thank you everybody that joined us tonight. I think it was a lot of fun. So, oh, I sounded worried. I mean, I think somebody pointed out to me. Somebody pointed out to me that they said that they saw me kind of like zoning out and kind of when I do think about things, I kind of look down or look up or whatever. I just kind of look around because yeah, there is certain things that it's kind of hard to talk about. I mean, I don't mind talking about it, but sometimes it's just yeah, it is a little hard to talk, and then just getting me to open up and kind of share that feeling, things like that. It does get a little hard. All right. Well, you guys have a great night. And like I said, thanks for tuning in, and we will, I'll see you guys either Saturday or next Wednesday. All right. Everybody have a great night.